I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for coming out today, and I'd also like to thank everyone who has helped me in one way or another in earning this achievement, especially those who helped with my Eagle project, both financially and physically. And yes, I mean, a lot of people who earn Eagle, it's like they say that it is on the Scout basically to earn the Eagle rank, but without people to like sign things off, to teach, people to help lead things, to prepare things and all that stuff, really you couldn't really do it. So with all that, I'd just like to say thank you to all of you who have influenced in one way or another and just helped in that process. And my scouting experience has definitely been unique and interesting. It's probably been shorter and not as in-depth as some of yours, but nevertheless, it's definitely has left me with some memories that I will probably keep for a long time. I do not think I'll forget the time that we did a survival camp out, and we were allowed to bring only a day pack, basically whatever you're going to take on a hike, you bring that. And it was fine until it got dark. It got down to about the 30s that night, and we were out there just, in our hiking gear. And that was my first camp out. So, trial by fire. And so, yeah, at the time, that was not fun at all. But, I mean, hey, I got to say that I've done that. I know what that's like. And so, definitely a learning experience. I also don't think I'm going to forget the time that we went to Joshua Tree and got to camp out there for like half of spring break. Being able to be out there with the massive boulders and just in that park and around nature, it's a fantastic scene. And it's definitely worth the heat and the wind, I'd say that. And so, it's not like I'm bitter or anything that you guys are going now that I'm gone. Every single year, but hey, you can't win them all. And so, the final memory that I'll touch on is just going to Camp Emerald Bay, which is, I did that twice, and I didn't go to many summer camps just because of busy schedule and busy summers and things like that, but honestly that was such a blast. Being able to do all the different aquatic activities and the kayaking and the snorkeling and camping out on the beach just under the stars after hanging out at the beach all day is honestly something that's going to stay with me. And it was a great experience. And so I could spend a lot of time discussing other trips and also in depth going on the requirements that had to be done in order to get here. But I think I'm just going to briefly touch on my Eagle project. For my Eagle project, I helped out the Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network at the end of Fairview. And so they were looking for help with some construction projects, and I figured that would kind of suit what I was looking for. And so they do primarily a lot of things with taking in birds and things like that. And so I built 2 bird enclosures. The first one was made out of wood and hardware cloth and mesh netting, and it stood about 6 feet. The actual cage was about 3 of that feet. The other 3 was the legs. And then the other one that we built was a smaller one that was called a net bottom for web-footed birds. And from that project, you learn that you really need to have a lot of planning ahead of time, but you get out there and a lot of that planning just kind of goes out the door, and you have to improvise, and because people, they're looking to you to organize what is going on, they're looking to you for direction because it is your project. And so you're left with having to make a decision right on the spot, faced with lots of people asking questions, and it's kind of got to work. So you just got to really be able to improvise and kind of go with the flow in that sense. And so overall, my experience has, kind of like I said earlier, been limited with busy schedule and things like that, and having to balance school and sports and friends and family and church and other trips and things like that, and then of course this. So it's a lot to handle, but that doesn't mean that even with a busy schedule you can't get to the top and earned the highest rank. But so for those who have busy lives out there and or just like that, I'd say that I know what that's like, and I can also say that it's doable, and I'd say that it's worth it. I started as the Tiger Cub in Cub Scouts, which is like the lowest, and then went all the way up through, even with having to balance busy schedules, things like that. And it's definitely worth it. I'd say that you should stick with it, and that if I was able to do it, I think everyone else should be able to. And so now I would like to conclude this by showing my gratitude to some specific people who have had major impacts on my experience and the majority of people's experiences. And so first I would like to ask Mr. Badagian to please step forward. Mr. Badagian, you have done a lot for scouting, and especially in my later years here, you took on the mantle of Scoutmaster when it was passed around for a while in the period of change and trying to find some stability. And you are there to kind of urge kids to keep going, rank up. And I just want to thank you for all your help and support along the way with scouting in general and with my experience. Now could I please have Mr. Bowen please come forward. Mr. Bowen, you have done so much throughout my years, including Cub Scout years, and these past years, including helping out with camping, finding camping trips, getting us into trips that we would otherwise not be able to get into without your connections, being a leader, and sacrificing your time and your comfort for the troop and people here, and just being there to help us kids. And you have truly helped enhance the experience, and I want to thank you for that. And finally, could I have Miss Burns please come forward? Miss Burns, you are probably one of the most social people that I know in the troop. Always out, talking to people, getting connections, and having a smile on your face. And when you're not doing that, you're probably documenting everything that is going on with your camera. And so yeah, it's fun having you around, and it really kind of helps just having that in the troop. And because of you, we've been able to get a lot of insider things and gotten people to donate things to us, and kind of you're not afraid to go out there and be persistent and just kind of have people help us out, or even with selling things and just planning trips, leading, and all of that. You're out there always sharing new ideas and trying to advance for the betterment of the troop and our experiences, and you were there primarily a lot through my older years, and I want to say thank you for all that you've done.